Welcome back to another episode of MiyaxDogs. What I'm going to do today is make up a new batch of fly spray because we are having a very warm and humid summer, and unfortunately that means we're getting a lot of biting flies, and they do tend to nibble the dog's ears if they're outside for any length of time. And obviously we want them to be outside because the weather is nice and they're enjoying it, but we want them to not get bitten by all the little bitey flies. So we have our own homemade recipe. Since we no longer use the Avon Skin So Soft, we just haven't been able to get hold of it. So we've come up with a recipe that seems to work. We've been using it this summer, and so far, touch wood, it's been working really well. So I'm going to show you how we make it. So first of all, I'll talk you through the ingredients. What we're going to use are distilled water, which will make up the majority. We've got isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to use a small amount of this to mix with our essential oils because water and oil don't mix very well without alcohol. A little bit of aloe vera gel, some raw apple cider vinegar, so that's just unprocessed, and a selection of essential oils, along with some neem oil, some fractionated coconut oil, and a little bit of catnip. We're going to put them into these brown glasses, bottles. These make 300 mils, so I'm going to make up 600 mils, and we're going to divide it into these two clean brown bottles. These are good for keeping the essential oils in their perfect state, let's say, so it keeps the purity and the sort of effectiveness of the spray for the time that you're going to keep it in your cupboard, which if you've only got 1 or 2 dogs might be the whole summer season. Because we've got 14 dogs, it's probably going to need more than the 2 bottles, but I just make it up 2 bottles at a time. Measuring devices, I have a 50ml syringe. You probably don't have one of these, but you probably have sensible cooking items that you can measure 50 mils with. I'm a nurse, so I have a 50ml syringe, and just any clean plastic container to measure up. We're going to put it all there together so we can pour it in. Some clean glass receptacles to do a bit of chemistry in, and obviously clean hands. Let's get started. You might notice that we have the dogs out with us today, so just so that you're aware, we've got Darcy and Knox in the background wandering around. I've got Catherine and Dot just behind me in the next garden, and there are a couple of puppies somewhere around, asleep, basically tucked away. There's one just there sleeping in the garden, and there's one just hiding under the seesaw sleeping. So let's start though, let me get on with this. We've got a jug. I'm going to make up 600 mils in total to make 2 300 ml spray bottles. And what we're going to need is we're going to use 200 mils of distilled water. Alright, I've poured that into the jug. We're going to need 200 mils of apple cider vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar. I've already poured that into the jug just to save some time. We're going to need 60 mils of the fractionated coconut oil. This is really good for your dog's coat, make it nice and shiny. I've already done 30 mils, so I'm going to add another 30. Just squeeze that into a clear glass receptacle and measure up your 30 mils. Need a bit more. Apple cider vinegar is also really great for your dog's coat, the condition of your dog's coat. There we are. 30 mils extra, so that's 60 mils altogether of fractionated coconut oil. I'm going to use 10 mils of pure neem oil. This is a really good insect repellent. I've already put 5 mils in, so we're going to do another quick 5 mils just to show you. There we are. And finally, we're going to put 100 mils of aloe vera gel in. Again, really good for your coat's skin, your dog's skin and coat. Just going to take this, draw up 50 mils. I've already put 50 in, so that will make 100. Oh, it's very gloopy. It is the gel, but it works nicely when you mix it with the apple cider vinegar and the spray, so don't worry about that being too thick, it's fine. Still sprays really well. And then finally onto the last part, which is adding your preferred scents. There are some essential oils that are essential to repelling the insects, but then obviously you can choose some smells and fragrances that you like. So now I've got all my base ingredients in my jug. I am up to 590 mils. That's going to make 2 300ml bottles, plus we've got 10 mils of play to put our favourite essential oils in. So just to recap, so far I've put 200 mils of distilled water in, I've put 100 mils of the Aloe Vera Gel, I've put 200 mils of apple cider vinegar, 60 mils of fractionated coconut oil, and just 10 mils of pure neem oil. So we're up to 590 mils in total. Like I say, that's to make 2 300ml bottles. So finally, I'm going to get the isopropyl alcohol. I'm only going to use 10 mils of this, perhaps not even quite that. I'm probably 8 mils. I've got a little ramekin with a measure on there, so I can see that's just over 7 mils, which will do perfectly. And all I'm going to do with the isopropyl alcohol is use that to mix up my preferred combination of essential oils. Now, some of these are essential to put in your fly spray because they do repel the insects. The first one I'm going to start you with is the geranium oil. I've found that this works as good, just the geranium oil, as good, if not better, than the Avon Skin So Soft that we've been using for years and years, for almost a decade. So geranium oil, for that one I'm going to put in at least 10 drops. And I'm going to put it straight into the isopropyl alcohol because that helps mix the oil into the rest of our solution. Okay, the next ones that I found work really well for repelling insects are lemongrass and citronella. Probably no big surprises to you there. So I'm going to use again about 10 drops of both. Lemongrass first. This just smells great as well. I know everyone has different things that they like, but lemongrass I think smells wonderful. And citronella, which obviously everyone knows is a really great insect repellent. About 10 drops of that as well. And then I like to add some things that are reportedly going to help, which are tea tree and lavender and peppermint. Oh no, that's not my peppermint. Where's my peppermint gone? There's my peppermint. So these smells go together really well, but tea tree is a lovely natural antiseptic. Peppermint, great smell for repelling flies. Lavender, also the same for repelling insects. Not my favourite smell, lavender, but great for repelling insects. So 10 drops of tea tree. I'm going to do the same with 10 drops of lavender. Ooh, that one's coming out really quick. And 10 drops of peppermint. This one's coming out really slow. There we are. Right. And then finally, find my little... I've also recently discovered, let me get the ones I've recently added to this little concoction of mine that I've been making. There we are. These are my little secret weapons. So, cedarwood, again, smells great, really good natural insect repellent. Cinnamon oil, I don't know, this just works amazingly since I've started adding a few drops of cinnamon oil. Turmeric, who'd have thought? Insects seem to hate that as well. Rosemary, I think it's a bit of a classic. Everybody knows rosemary probably is really good at repelling insects, but I found that it adds a little bit of a warmer smell, I guess, with the cedarwood. And then finally, really small amounts, so literally 1 drop of garlic oil, because this stuff is super strong and really smells very strong of garlic. Insects seem to hate the smell of garlic, but garlic isn't particularly good for our dogs, so we only use 1 drop in this entire 600 ml concoction, and you can still smell that it's in there. So that it's enough to keep the flies away, but it's such a tiny amount that it's not going to do your animals any harm whatsoever. And catnip. Catnip, since I've been adding a couple of drops of catnip, it has been a game changer. So a couple of drops of catnip, that also seems to repel all the insects. So let's get those in. The cedarwood smells great, so I've been putting plenty of that in. Really like the smell of that, and the dogs seem to like the smell of that too. Like I say, a little bit of cinnamon oil. This is quite thick, so I only put a few drops of cinnamon oil in. And turmeric oil, which I did some reading, and again, it's supposed to be another good insect repellent. It's been working great since we've been putting it in. And my rosemary, which just takes the edge off of that garlic oil. So plenty of rosemary oil in, everyone. Right, we're down to the garlic oil. You might want to wear gloves as well, guys, for this if you don't like the smell. It is super strong. 1 drop is all that you need in this entire mixture. Ooh, I think we got 2. Okay, well, we'll live. I don't mind the smell. 2 is still fine. And catnip, just a couple of drops of catnip oil. There we go. Swirl that around in the alcohol, and you'll see that it has mixed beautifully into that alcohol, and we can now add that to our mixture. So here we have it, 600 mils of natural, 100% natural, homemade fly and insect repellent spray. I'm just going to mix it up with my syringe there. You'll see it's very watery, nice and runny. And we can just pour that into these lovely jars. I just ordered these online, guys. I think it was Amazon. It doesn't clog up the spray bottles. It's, like I say, runny enough to work really well in a spray. If your dog doesn't like a spray, you could just add it to the bottle and use a damp cloth or a brush to pop it on. Let me put this new spray lid on. You'll see. That's 1. Oh, I've just had a load of flies. We'll see if it works in a minute. Well, the wasp came and decided that it didn't like it, so it left. That's a good sign. Right. I'm going to save that one for later. Before you use it, guys, just give it a little bit of a shake on my... Whew. Yeah, it smells great. So you can obviously use what essential oils you choose. I highly recommend using the Geranium, which I don't know where I've put. It's here somewhere. I know I've used it. So oh, here we are. Highly recommend using the Geranium. I highly recommend using the a little bit of turmeric and cinnamon oil. They seem to really help. The classics, the lavender, the rosemary, the tea tree, the peppermint, they just help make it smell great, guys. And obviously we know that those things are all good for repelling insects. Citronella, another one, essential one. And finally, a little bit of garlic and a little bit of catnip. The lemongrass, I would argue that's essential too. So essentially, the geranium oil, turmeric, cinnamon, citronella, the garlic and the catnip, along with the lemongrass and citronella. I think I've said citronella. But the peppermint, the cedarwood, the rosemary, the lavender and the tea tree, all supposed to repel insects, but I think they just smell great. It actually works on me too, so I use it. It definitely has stopped me getting as many insect bites this summer, and it is working wonderfully on the dogs. So I spray it on the back of their neck, I spray it on the shoulders, and I use my hands to rub it up onto their ears because the flies seem to like biting their little ears. So it's been working a treat. As you are probably aware, all my dogs' ears are perfectly intact, and yet they spend most of the summer outdoors, just too hot to be inside for them at this time of year. Thank you for joining me. I hope you like this. I hope you give something like this a try at home. It's certainly better than using any chemicals on your dogs. It does help in the summer months. It doesn't just repel biting flies, it's also thought to repel ticks, it's also thought to repel fleas, so useful to spray lightly around your home. Obviously you can use it to spray when you're on your brushes, when you're grooming your dog. Like I say, I spray on the back of the neck. My dogs don't mind being sprayed, but if your dogs don't like it, you can just keep it in the bottle, pour some onto a damp cloth and rub that onto the coat of your dogs. There's nothing in here that will do your dogs any harm. Just be careful that you're not losing a lot of the alcohol, but when you're making a mixture this large, it basically means that only less than 5 mils of this is alcohol, and out of 300 mils, that's just to keep the oils separated, so they stop them separating basically from your mixture. That's all it's for, and it's been working a treat, and actually it's been quite nice on my skin too. So thank you for joining me. I'll try and keep up with making the videos. We've been really busy around here lately, but we'll sign off now that you're getting a howl for goodbye. And I'll see you in the next one.